and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Believe it or not, we're here and we're going to present you with a great book tonight, me and ISBE. Welcome, ISBE. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm so thrilled that you're here.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. Much favor be upon everybody.
And as everybody comes in and joins us tonight, we're going to have a great night. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, everybody. Much favor upon all of you. Remember, be the frequency you want to receive. And tonight we're going to go through this book, King Og. Oops, and I didn't get my book, King Og, up here. You got, okay. I got this book, King Og, as if you can't see the background, says it's the lost book of King Og. That's right. We both have a copy. Awesome. And if you don't have a copy, you can go on eBay or Amazon or wherever you'd like to find a good book. And if you can, go to your neighborhood bookstore and get your book right there. And that's the best because you're supporting local people, even if you have to pay $1 or $2 more. Let them order it for you. Tell them this is a good book and everybody should read it. And we're going to do this story on it. But first, we're going to talk to ISBE a little bit for coming on and, being my co-host here tonight. And what do you got to say tonight?
Hi, everybody. There's all kinds of prosperity and abundance favor upon us all together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you've been studying this book for quite a while now, reading it and things like that.
Yeah.
What have you come up with? What do you think of this?
I think it's amazing. I mean, all this stuff, it's talking about the giants and its little people, the small people, small selves.
Yep.
And what was going on, and it surprised me. Even this first chapter here, it talks about it. King Og and Nimrod were actually brothers.
Yes. Because they were all giants. They were all of one race. Does that not tell you something? It's like we're all of one race, regardless if you're black, white, Indian, Chinese, Mexican, whatever. We are of one race. It doesn't matter if you're a Russian or a Ukrainian or an American or a German. We're of one race. We're one people. That's it. And here's the giants, and they're showing you in this book we're going to read what happens when you forget that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
But first you had something you were going to share with all of us before we get started.
Oh, there's the Metamorphosis by Ovid. It's got a PDF. You can find it on PDF drive.
You want to share it? You want to share it so everybody can see what you're talking about. This is where you come up with share. Okay. But while you're pulling that up, I'm going to tell everybody this is where. So we're going to read a short bit of this, the introduction tonight, and then we're going to read about one chapter. And so this isn't going to be the super long videos, and we're not going to be an hour and a half here tonight. We're going to do the thing. We're introducing ISBE to the world tonight because he's going to have himself a new channel really soon, as soon as he puts it up on YouTube, called ISBE Speaks. And where he'll be putting out his own stories and information, and you can find him right there. And as soon as he gets that up, I will be putting that description in the description below this video in the coming future. But for right now, he doesn't have that, and we are moving on with the show. What do you got there?
Okay, this is it's mostly like I'm going to run it back up to there it is. Now, this is mostly, it was written by, he's a Greek philosopher or something like that. And he wrote it in like poems.
Yep.
You know?
Yes.
Wrote it like it was a poem.
Okay.
And
you wanted to read one of those tonight for us to start us out?
okay, let's go down here to the first one.
Yes.
Because it says giants in that part.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you about, let's see, Publius Ovidius Nassau was born in 43 BC at Salmo in central Italy. Coming from wealthy, let me, since I got it up on this other computer too.
Are you going to read a bit out of it, or are you just going to read the beginning of this to tell us who he was?
I'll just explain what it is.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do some shorts on it, just read poems, go through and read what his poems are and do the short videos when I get my channel up.
All right. That sounds really good. It just sounds interesting. The Greeks and the Romans, they were really smart and intelligent people back in the day. They literally sat around thinking all day. Well, not all of them, but the higher ups, I guess, they spent a lot of years. They had schools. They were almost like we are now. They were very civilized. They sent the kids to school. They had running water. They had toilets and things. They took, you've ever heard of the Roman baths and stuff like that. So they were clean people. They were kind of cruel, I guess, with the Romans in the Colosseum, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, he came from a wealthy Roman family, seemingly destined for a career in politics. He held some minor official posts before leaving public service to write. He became the most distinguished poet of his time. He published works including Amours, a collection of short love poems, Horades, verse letters written by mythological heroines to their lovers, Ars and Materia, and satirical handbook on love. Remedia Amoris, a sequel to the Ars and Metamorphosis, his epic work on change. He was working on Fasti, a poem on the Roman calendar, when in AD 8, Emperor Augustus exiled him to Tomis on the Black Sea, far from Rome, and the literary life he loved. The reason for this is unclear. The pretext was the immortality of Ars Amatoria, but there was probably a political aspect to the affair. He continued to write notably Tristia, Epistulia, Ex Ponto, and revised Fasti. He never returned to Rome and died in exile in AD 17 or 18. David.
Yes.
Wow. I'm wondering, David Rayburn was educated at Charterhouse Christ Church, Oxford. He followed a career as a classic teacher and a headmaster of two schools, as the headmaster of two schools. On returning from the headship of Right Gift School in 1991, he returned to Oxford, where he taught Greek and Latin to undergraduates for the classic facility, and later for individual colleges. He particularly interested in the performance aspects of classical poetry, and is known for his productions of Greek tragedy with school and university students, mostly in the original, but also in his own translations. Another special love is Roman poetry of the Augustan period. Dennis Freely was born and received his first education in New Zealand and went to Oxford for his D.Phil, whatever that is. He is now Geiger Professor of Latin at Princeton University, having held posts in Washington, in Wisconsin, Bristol, and Oxford. He is the author of The Gods in Epic, Poets, and Critics of the Classical Tradition, Oxford, 1991. I'm reading this so you understand about where this come from. You know, these are the people who translated it from the Latin, I guess it was.
Oh, absolutely. I get it. It's important to tell who writes it, because, you know, I've looked at stuff that people wrote, and man, if it's wrote by some idiot who, you know, it's like, well, that guy's got no credibility. But this guy, these guys, they translate Greek and Latin. They taught Latin and Greek. They did poetry. They are the guys that know their stuff. So, you know, this is going to be an interesting thing once you get your channel up to do these readings. I can't wait. So should we get on? Should we get on with the book?
Yep.
All right. Let's get on with the book. Now, remember, everybody. It's going to be ISBE Speaks. You can write that down. It's going to be good. He's going to have a new channel. You'll be able to, hopefully we get you a bunch of subscribers as soon as you get that hooked up. And like I said, I'll put it in the description as soon as he gets it going.
Yeah, I'm going to create a whole new channel for it.
Great. Okay, you got to stop share so I can share.
Okay.
All right. So we can get the King Og book up. All right.
There you go.
Okay, everyone. Here we go. King Og, and we're now. This book was, that's photos. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. I think that's the one we want. Okay, so now the thing is that we, let's see. Oh, we got this book from Wayne Steiger. So go to his channel if you, well, I'm sure you all been subscribed to his channel. And he started reading this book a while back. I'd say about a year or two ago. And it was really interesting. And I always wanted to bring it back up and reread it several times. And I've quoted about this book many, many, many times. So we're going to get started with this, the introduction. I'll read some of this and then we'll get started on chapter 1, and I'll let you read some of that until my voice gets tired, eh? Got too many people call me. Okay. Introduction to the Lost Book of King Og. What you hold in your hands is a prize of antiquity. This is the very first pressing of King Og of Bashan writings. King Og is the fierce giant that Moses had to fight, mentioned in Numbers 21 of the Bible. This book features the only Aramaic translation of the remaining mostly complete copy of the Book of King Og, the Rephaim. This text, which was lost, hidden because of historic calculated move by Pope Pius the 12th to separate it from the Manchinian book of the giants. Now, I'd like to get my hands on that book.
Yeah.
Has been the source of great speculation within the research halls of the Vatican for centuries. Originally, both Latin and Aramaic versions existed. The Latin version was censored and destroyed by the Catholic Church in the 5th century. The current uncovering of the Clastorius donation of the 550 CE has revealed the most intact, a bit horribly preserved copy of the Book of King Og. Yet Cladorius, the Roman writer, here we go with the Romans again, owned an extensive library and donated books and original scrolls to the church on a regular basis. The specific Clodorius donation of 550 CE was uncovered in early 2015 and made available to in-house Vatican translators for supervised perusal only in August of that same year. The suppression of this text has always been due to the fact that the Book of King Og is a pagan book, the pagan aspect of the tome, and there are plenty, make it burial at the Catholic Church completely logical. In fact, I understand their argument that the decision was God inspired. With the Constantine's systematic destruction of non-Christian texts in around 326 CE and the following Glorgasian decree of the 5th century CE, known and or reproduction of Og's verses was rendered impossible. In fact, the Catholic Church originally posted the following words of Arthemia in regards to the Book of King Og and other forbidden texts. And whatever disciples of heresy and of the heretics or the systematics whose names we have scarcely preserved, have taught and compiled, we declare to be not merely rejected, but executed or excluded from the whole Roman Catholic and Apostolic Church and its authors and inheritance to be damned in the intolerable shackles of Euthymia forever. The Book of King Og is referenced by association throughout recent history, perhaps most notably in the New History of Ecclesiastical Writers, published in 1693. In this reference book, the Book of King Og is described as forged by Jews and heretics, both famous and erroneous. Furthermore, there has always been a historic element of disregard for the text, as the court documents of the blasphemy trial of C. Southwell in 1841, which was ground zero for the modern atheist movement. In those trial documents, there is a reference to the Book of King Og that has been lost and is full of fables and errors. What I have come to conclude is that this has been a lamentable suppression of key spiritual knowledge that discloses fissures in Christianity ideology by the Catholic Church. The Book of King Og, in its entirety, is currently under lock and key deep in the bowels of the Vatican, where it has been transcribed in-house in the secret Vatican Library at the Department of Ancient Documents and Surviving Occult Findings. This department is curated under the Vatican residing American Bishop and translator Father Martin, currently traveling abroad. Father Martin has only been able to work exclusively on the translation in the earnest since the spring of 2016. In short, Father Martin has access to texts that have been unknown and unavailable to non-Vatican scholar in the field until now. As far as Father Martin has informed me, these are the only known writings of any of the Rephaim. I apologize for the breaks in text. I will cite them in brackets. I will also transcribe that which further Father Martin was unable to translate as follows. Speculative text will have no eclipses. For example, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Regarding speculative text, it was painstakingly agreed between Father Martin and myself that italicized words now signify broader translations. All translation liberties taken have been cleared by Father Martin and a panel of his discreet Catholic supervisors. For what you see below is the most efficient reading of the Book of King Og. One final note for readers is that due to the deposed state of source documents, both chapters 5 and 7 are incomplete. In fact, chapter 5 is more or less reduced to Gradius killing that King Og and his son Ogyas Ogius participate in. Chapter 7 is when King Og speaks his final words prior to the battle with Moses. While chapter 7 was in pieces, an argument about whether to call the incoming attackers Israelites, or not to become the focus of many, many arguments. Yes, they were Israelites, but historically, at the time, they were not defined as such. And in the translation of King Og, Torrent of Profanity, it was concluded that the written target should be acutely defined rather than left open, to suggest is, in fact, Moses and his people whom King Og is addressing. For brevity's sake, the word Israelite is used in this sequence. This book is a result of long months of late night discussions and study stateside with Father Martin as a close personal friend of mine, Demmon. All right.
Father Martin. Yeah.
All right. What do you think of that?
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So this book was ravaged up from the hidden vaults of the Vatican. So I guess, I wonder what else is down there in that Vatican.
I was wondering that too. I was just sitting there thinking that too. I wonder what else is down there buried.
I remember one of the people in the chat room, maybe it was Susie Q or somebody, maybe it was Brandy Robinson. I don't remember, but they said we should go there and they should go there and dig it all up, get tear down the Vatican, go in there and get those records. And I says, well, if they did, and they did go there to the Vatican, and you did get those records down there, it would take you months, years, a lifetime to decipher all of those books and translate them into readable material.
Oh yeah, and also though, that's in a controlled environment there. Very,
yes.
very, very dry air. And you took in books out of that environment into the air outside, they just start falling apart probably.
Absolutely, because like books, like if you have a book like this, in 150 years, this book will pretty much fall apart. The ink will fall off the paper will fall apart, and you will have nothing.
It'll turn to dust.
Yes. Well, maybe not 150, maybe about 200 years. I'd say 200 years. The glue would come out of the backing.
Look at a piece of paper that's been outside, for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, I got books that are 150 years old, and man, they are literally really brittle. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I got one here. Look at this book. Look at it. And the paper is just, it's like really thin, and the words are just literally disappearing. Look at that. Paper is just so super thin. You can almost see through it, and this book is from, oh geez, where was it? This is from the 20s. I think it's from the 20s or something like that. Yeah, it's like, 1883, reproduced in 1921. So this book was made in 1921, and it's very, very fragile. I also got an old book here. This book, look at, and the pages are just, and the cover is leather. It's a leather bound cover. I don't know what year this is, but it's really old. Oh no, it's copyright 1929. Oh, sorry. This is from 29, and it's really, it's about falling apart. But so anyway, that's just the ones I can grab, but I got older ones. So I got
a few other books too.
Yeah, but usually when you pick them up there, you got to be real careful. You got to really be careful. Okay, shall we start on our book? Do you want to start it out?
Sure.
All right.
This is the King Og, Lost Book of King Og, Chapter 1. King Og let his hatred of Nimrod be known. These are the last and only words spoken by Og of the Rephaim, as told as told to Onzel, the slayer of the smaller selves before Baal, Baal of the earth, who keeps our garden fertile, Baal of the earth, who guided Og's complete loin wrath from when the old world monsters stood until after the time of the great waters. Baal who reversed the unspoken mistake. Oh, something I was going to mention about these giants. Everybody's, they've been finding these 30-foot giants as tall, giants as tall as 30 feet.
Yep.
But Mud Fossil University had mentioned that these giants, some of them are 300 foot tall.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And even taller than that.
I know.
And
the funny part about that is if they did find a bone from a 300-foot tall giant, you'd probably be standing on it and think it's a piece of rock or something, because how would you know it's even a bone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would be so big that you would not be able to tell if it's a bone or a skeleton, because it's so big.
Yeah, Mud Fossil University got some pictures in there of some really tall giants that are just fossilized.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unless you see them like that, you'd never know it. So why don't we go ahead? See, these are numbered like.
Okay.
You read 2 and I'll read 2. How's that?
Okay, I'm on 4 now.
Yes, you're on 4, and then I'll take 6 and 8.
The loose-bowed false priest led mighty Og, Nimrod, and all the Rephaim to the unspoken mistake, that embarrassing which cannot be named or fixed until Baal intervenes. The stupid unspoken mistake stains us all to the inner loins. The mistake in the fields that the false loose-bowed Rephaim priest of Baal led us to, perverting us all.
Iog and the true Rephaim priest of Baal tore out the jelly of their eyes and pulled the stupid skulls off those false Rephaim priests of complete loin. We spilled their own worm-filled stomachs and yellowing wet droppings out on the fields with bare hands. We twisted and tore them free. Nimrod also participated, sacrificing his false Nephilim priest of incomplete loin and piling their plucked, circumcised sexual organs atop each other, and sparked the useless meat with fire, a disgrace to them. Baal of the earth was pleased. The blackened blood of both complete and incompletely loined deceivers ran thick over the grass. We cut the bodies into pieces and laid them upon the wood and poured 4 barrels of oil upon the flesh. Then the fires of Baal of the sun fell and consumed the sacrifice of false priests. The dark smoke of cursed Rephaim flesh smoldered, sacrifice burned for Baal of the earth and the promise of fertility.
Now, the fires coming from the sky.
That's the sun, yeah, because everything is from the sun. There's ball of the sun, and
what do you think it was? A solar flare?
It could be. There's a lot. I think there's a lot hidden in here. See, they laid upon the wood and poured 4 barrels, and they lit it on fire, right? And then the fire of Baal of the sun fell, and the ball of the fire of Baal of the sun fell. That means the sun went down, and the dark smoke of the cursed Rephaim flesh. So basically, the sun went down. The smoke filled the air, and the sun was gone.
Blocked the sun out. Blocked the sun out. That's how bad it was. Wow. We encourage the vermin-like smaller cells of both kingdoms, both complete and incomplete loin, present at the sacrifice, to feast upon the corrupted. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that cannibalism, you know.
Those
Flesh
people
of
were pretty wicked.
Uh-huh.
Those people, they were pretty wicked, weren't they?
Yeah, it's not like it is now.
Yeah.
Although it's probably still happening somewhere. Flesh of the Rephaim bodies. Okay. And unnatural curse now rest upon my skull and spirit until the end of the stars. We both encourage this new abomination, Nimrod and I, Og, in our quest for the unnatural. I wonder how tall these people were.
Well, it'll tell. It'll tell there eventually.
During the time of the sacrifice of the loose-bowed, fecal priest, I all governed my half of the great land, and Nimrod his. I all continually marveled over the tranquil peace between our world tribes. Nimrod's Nephilim kingdom enforced circumcision, while Og's did not.
In that season, the kingdom of Og formed a pact of brotherhood with all remaining Rephaim tribes, lands. This pact induced the vermin-like smaller selves to Baal worship. In the pact, I called the mighty hunter Nimrod, blood of my own lineage. Now, with the death of all the remaining Rephaim upon Nimrod's dry, fecal hands, I no longer honor the cowardly half-loin Nephilim hunter called Nimrod. Only a half-loin Nimrod or Nephilim coward murders a child. For this offense and more, I regularly urinate upon his dead fecal corpse, until the meat and offal peel away. Till the end of my days, I will take the daily fecal journey to choke his Nephilim corpse.
Oh man. Talk about hating somebody.
Yeah, that's a hate that carries and carries. So, oof.
Yeah. Oh, man. And that's his own brother.
Yeah.
That's yeah. of all the warlike hatred of which volcanoes are formed, I hold the most for the disrespected skeletal remains of the Nephilim hunter. Nimrod, who led his kingdom in the loin weakening, member carving practice of circumcision. Where did circumcision come from now, you know?
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Yeah, and on in here, it
talks about it a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know, I'm like, this is in Christians, you know.
Yep.
The Christianity, you know, has got everybody getting circumcised.
That's right. You know what tribe you're from.
Oh no, I ain't from. I don't hold no allegiance to Nimrod. That's for sure.
Well, I know, but you know, it's saying in here. Well, we just have to finish reading the story and figure it out why.
Yeah. I will tell tales of how the Nephilim, vomit-soaked, circumcised Nimrod offended all of the Rephaim. How in his stupidity, half-loined Nimrod defied Baal, thus causing Baal of the earth to guide my unforgiving hands after war to his death. Well, this and other stories will be told to Anak for the very chapters of this book.
One day, I, Og, will finish my last medal and push my crumpled plate away and lay down to die. My hatred will cease, but the half-loin name of Nimrod will forever mean stupid. Nimrod's name shall mean the Nephilim fecalness of mind and mangled of loin. He alone carries all of the disgrace of the Rephaim. All who circumcise their members claim allegiance to Nimrod. Nimrod is the circumcised Nephilim who killed us all.
Whoa. Yeah, it means stupid. Think about that, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's just saying is if you're circumcised, your allegiance is claimed to Nimrod.
Well, I ain't got no allegiance to him.
Well, you know, the thing is even so, you've been sacrificed, man. You were sacrificed to Nimrod.
Yeah, no,
and you didn't even know it.
That kind of upsets me just a little bit, you know?
Yes.
I didn't have a choice at that. They didn't ask me if I wanted to be circumcised.
And why do you think they do it when you're a child?
Yeah.
Okay, you're up.
Okay. Oh God. Oh, that I could shatter his teeth in Nimrod's mouth again and break the teeth of his half-loin Nephilim sons, Jatun, and the satisfaction of killing Nimrod's sons, whose names will not be mentioned, to blot them from the earth. First, before I can tell the story, it should be told how shrewd Nimrod the hunter was. What a good steward of his land he was. How much so Og envied Nimrod as a warrior. How much so Og envied Nimrod as a ruler. How much so Og envied Nimrod as he forced the smaller selves to build the throne room of Baal. Og did not envy the circumcision or any of the lessening of the member that Nimrod chose for his Nephilim kingdom.
Nimrod's land. Oh, go ahead. Do you have something to say? Okay.
Throne room of Baal.
Yeah, Bahal. Throne, a big throne room basically for Baal. You know?
Yeah, it must have been big too.
Yeah, imagine. This is where we get the smaller selves coming in. Okay, Nimrod's land used the smaller selves for food in secret. He traded them to the kingdom of Og for labor in the open. Nimrod also forced the male Nephilim and the male smaller selves of his kingdom to carve their loins with the knife of circumcision. Consumption of the smaller selves in secret is the true mystery that Nimrod knew in. Governance. Nimrod, the dung smeared of mind and loin, raised the smaller selves as secret food, meat. Nimrod and the Nephilim, with the incomplete member who deceived and concealed his consumption of the adult male smaller selves. At the end of the great battles with the unspeakable large-scale beast of old, food in the kingdom of Og was scarce. The Rephaim brothers of animal husbandry, the great beast farmers, and the tamers, Og and Magog, had both turned their gray eyes to the magnificent Leviathan and other beasts of the sea for meat. Beasts of old we fed upon, the forgotten gods of lesser time.
During that season, sparse of food, Og found a large colony of smaller cells in my kingdom. A colony of smaller cells riddled with Rephaim. Evils such as murder and rape as they enslaved and harmed each other. Wow. I don't understand how something so big could even copulate with a smaller cell, because that would be a death. It seemed like to be something that would kill the smaller cell.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, let me see.
27.
The powerful kingdom of Og was not deceptive or crafty with his smaller selves, as Nimrod was. Smaller self, adult males were struck down and eaten in the open. We chose not to hide our hunger from the smaller selves. We do not require the loin carving circumcision that Nimrod required in his land.
Rephaim. Oh, well, yeah. Well, they just basically they were eating people.
What was that Native American tribe that was talking about the giants were devouring them, coming and eating them?
I think it was the Plains Indians, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that one up. I don't remember, but there is one that was talking about that. There was a story on that.
They chased him up in a cave and lit a fire in front in the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, that was in Nevada or something like that, Arizona, Nevada. Yeah.
And then there's the ruin somewhere where it's showing where they found all kinds of bones.
Yep.
That look like they've been eaten.
Yep. Exactly.
Cut on.
Exactly. Okay, we're on 28. Yeah, the Rephaim priest of Baal decreed all lands were not to feast upon the smaller self females. Smaller self females became pure priestesses, wives, and concubines of Baal, not to be known by any member. We taught the smaller selves not to kill or pain or rape. We taught the procreative value of the smaller self females. Nimrod and Og both taught the smaller selves Baal's truths. During all times of peace and war, the Rephaim priest of Baal decreed the sacrifice of the tiny, worthless, smaller self children to undo the unspoken mistake. Nimrod's Nephilim kingdom and the Rephaim land of Og sacrificed all smaller self children with effectual vermin ritual, being of one mind and spirit, bleeding for Baal to undo the unspoken mistake.
That must have been a hard time to be a smaller self.
Yeah, you just get hunted down and sacrificed. You get a kid, it's going to Baal.
Yeah. You'd have to hide your kids.
Pretty much.
I don't know how we didn't go extinct.
Yeah.
In that situation, we don't know. Okay, we're on 32 now, right?
Yep, 32.
The Rephaim must consider now themselves. The Rephaim must consider a return to the ex-creta of beginning. Every day brings the extinction of the Rephaim. Every day brings the extinction of the Rephaim species closer. Consider Baal when you have given birth to a child at 500 years. Consider Baal again as each new star passes. It is Baal, our land fertile. It is Baal again. Produce Rephaim offspring. It is Baal that we cry out to and ask for extension. The smaller selves will birth the next Rephaim. Baal has spoke through the priestess in death of the moon child. Our bracelets for Baal, smaller selves infants, are scorched in the fire and scream to Baal nightly. There has been so much loss of life for him. Baal will extend us, make us fertile again. Like I said, I don't know how a smaller self could give birth to a giant.
Well, yeah, I don't know either, unless they're talking technology, or something. But what I'm seeing is that Baal, they're referring to Baal as the sun, life giver, and they're also saying that they can't have children. But if you go back a few pages, they're not the only ones not having children. See, it says here, it says the teeth, the mouth, smaller spells, the loins, the knife. Oh, okay, one more. He says, while okay, the Rephaim brothers threatened great beasts. They were farmers and tamers. Gog and Magog both turned their eyes gray to the magnificent Leviathan, another beast of the sea, for meat. So whatever was, they were farming and nothing was growing. They as their eyes turning gray means that they were getting old and they were looking for food. So they went to the beast of the sea for meat, which, what's in the sea? There's whales and there's sea lions, big giant animals in the sea. And then it says, during the season sparse of food, Og found a large colony of smaller selves. Well, just think of it. If you're looking for food, there's nothing out there. You're traveling and looking and traveling for food because there's no animals. And you being a giant, you're on that list because you're at the top of the food chain. You know what I'm saying? And if you're on the top of the food chain, you're eating everything in sight until there is nothing. Nothing is growing, nothing is reproducing, and everything is getting smaller because something to me is telling me that something is happening to the earth itself because they're praying to the sun. Yeah, there's a famine.
There's a famine of some kind.
Yes, there's big earth changes going on. So anyway, go ahead.
It might have been they was passing through the disk of the galaxy like we are now.
Yeah, but the only problem is we don't really know what time this is. What part of time is this? It's before, King Og lived thousands of years. So, this is way before the flood, and it's way before Moses, because Moses killed Og in the Bible. He kills Og. So this is thousands of years before that.
Yeah, and we've gone over the Ultra-Hasis,
yeah,
and the Anunnaki, and they claim to have created human beings.
And
did they create the giants too?
Or maybe they were the giants and they created the smaller selves.
Smaller selves.
Exactly. I mean, it's something to think about. So anyway, this is exactly. So everybody out there, if you got good ideas on that, email me. My email is in the description below. And if you got comments, leave them in the comment section, because we want to hear your thoughts on all of this too. It's no fun if we just banter back and forth without hearing you. So on our next episode, I will try to find your emails that you send me, or read in the comments of what you think of this. If you got any questions and things like that, or things we should talk about it, I would love to hear from you all. We're going to kind of wrap this up soon. What do you got left, ISBE? We're going to come back with chapter 2 on our next show.
This isn't in chapter 2. This chapter's not over yet.
Isn't that Og speaks of supplication of Baal? I don't know if I thought that was chapter. That's only page. This is the last page I got.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's read this.
Stop right there and then carry on from there.
Yeah, let's finish this page up then, because this is all I got is just this page. I didn't run off anymore.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All of the earth has land with greenery and healthy vegetation, fruits and nuts. All of the earth also saw to Og's success in the 100,000 giant war. Baal, mountains to climb when the waters covered the earth. Baal guided his hands, and as I drew Nimrod's yellowing entrails from his quaking, mishappen loin. Or Misshaped, shapen, loined, Nephilim body. Scream to all the earth, all Rephaim. Rejoice and scream and beg for the undoing of the unspoken mistake. Declare Baal's power aspects. Again, I say, scream and rejoice. Be it war or contention. It is that Baal that keeps our field fertile, who keeps the people of the land. Remind Baal of the earth of fertility in your. Remind Baal of the extension. Ascribe to Baal, all of you, Rephaim, ascribe to Baal the land's fertility and your physical strength.
Smaller self, child offerings, and come before Baal. Scream and bleed in the fertility upward awards to us for our worship. The fertility that will prolong the Rephaim. Tremble before the all-powerful Baal, before his established land of fertility that cannot be moved. Before the altar, we bleed on the wait. We wait the extension as we scream, come, Lord Baal, in unison with our wounds.
Extension, Baal of the earth will extend the Rephaim in his time, not by our will, but by Baal's will. Can the extension take place?
Okay, we'll end on that note, because I thought Og speaks of supplication of all of the earth. I thought that was the end of the chapter. Sorry, no, but
there's two more pages.
Yeah, well, we'll pick that up on the next go around. Sorry, I was trying to hurry up and do this. Yeah, I see the 2 pages, but we'll pick this up where we left off. I mean, that way we got to put it on the screen and it'll all be good, and share it with everybody else. This was really good. Now remember, people, where you're going to hear a lot more of this. We got a whole book. We're just starting the first chapter, and join us again. Remember, 9 o'clock, and always on the Milky Way Soul Tribe. ISBE, what do you got to say before we head out?
Well, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I sure enjoy it.
It just changes my whole, changes, my whole perception of human history and all that,
Yes. Oh yeah. And I got a book I'm going to be reading from Scotty Roberts on the Nephilim here. I haven't started on it. I started a different book, but I'm reading that book, and then I'm going to have him on. We're going to talk about the Nephilim, but because he wrote a whole book. So tune in to Scotty Roberts. He talks about that. He wrote a whole book on that. So it's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah. I remember seeing shows on that.
Yeah. Look him up on, he reads the book on the internet too. So look it up. Yeah.
I'm
exactly. Yeah.
A lot of times I'm tired and too sleepy to mess around.
I know. Yeah. He comes on at 9 o'clock Central Time, and you're way out there. You're an hour above him. So it's 10. Yeah. He's on late too. He usually stays on for about an hour and a half. So it's all good. But
he's
anyway,
good. I love him, man.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. He's got some really good books out there. Where did I put that? Hang on. I just got his new book. I got this one.
Oh yeah.
Camo Hair. It's a kid's book. It's got some pictures in it and stuff too. There's a picture. This is all illustrations from Scotty Roberts. But I'm gonna try to read that book, and then we'll have that on the show too. So it's all good. But anyway, before we get too long in the tooth for tonight, thank you everybody for coming and showing up. We've had a great show. We're going to do a lot more on this and study the King Book Og. And in the meantime, I don't have a PDF, so go buy your own book. It's on eBay and Amazon and wherever you can find it. Like I said, go to the bookstore. It'll be great. Thank you, everybody. Remember, be the frequency you want to receive. I love you all. Peace, everybody.
I love you too. Peace.
Spread a little love, because I love you all unconditionally. Be the frequency you want to receive. Have a good night.